Welcome everyone to this beginner's watercolor tutorial. I'm Bill Holcomb, and today we will be painting a wonderful misty landscape with rolling hills with light catching the tops of the hills and a mist in the background at the base of the mountains. I will show you step by step how to achieve these techniques. You'll only need 3 brushes and 5 colors. And so this will be great for beginners. So please join me. Let's paint watercolors. The sketch is very simple. We have a distant mountain range, and then we have some trees on the left, and I'm using a very light pencil. You can use something like a HB or a 2B, no softer than that. Otherwise, when you paint, you might get smudges. And I'm hardly touching the paper, so I don't want strong lines. We have a series of undulating landscape, which will be useful where we show the light catching the top of those various landscape areas. Then we're mixing up a combination of colors. We've got some Winsor Yellow, some sap green, some Winsor Blue, different strengths, as you can see from my palette. This will be a very simple sky, perfect for beginners. We use a mop brush to start with, clear water, and I go over the mountain range to the bottom of that. Then straight into the Winsor Blue, starting at the top of the paper. It's a very easy, uncomplicated sky, perfect for beginners. It's a wet in wet situation. So you come down over the top of the mountain range, but because we want the misty bottom area, we do not continue that right to the very end. And you see me use a tissue every now and then to clean off my brush of pigment and mop up the edges of the paper to prevent creep back. Then, while still wet, I've gone back into the Winsor Blue and laid down some more wash, and you see it dries light when I have dried it off with the hairdryer. I've got some Winsor Blue and Scarlet Lake going on there because we are going to do the mountain range. I've got a number 12 brush now with a nice point from Utrecht. I like their brushes. They're very affordable and do the job very well. So I have laid down water all the way down to the bottom of the mountain range. Then with a small number 6 size brush, I have laid down some of the stronger mixture of Winsor Blue and Scarlet Lake at the top of the mountain range and let that slowly fuse down. And in that sense, I would mention again that my board is at a slight angle, about 30 degrees, 25, 30 degrees. So it slopes from the top down to the bottom. I have a block of wood at the top. So the board is at an angle, sloping down. That way our washes work their way down slowly down the paper instead of pooling here and there, creating puddles and so forth, and all sorts of problems occurring where the pigment has nowhere to go in that situation. But here we're forcing it down the paper, much more controlled. Then that's Winsor Yellow only being mixed up in the middle of the palette. And we lay that down on the far ridge. Then we drop into mixture of permanent sap green with a Winsor Yellow. Once again, using that tissue to dry off any excess, so I maintain control. Often what causes problems for people is starting out to paint transparent watercolor is the amount of water to pigment. If it is too fluid, then you can lose control. So you need to maintain that control by having a good, correct mixture. So we're coming forward, working our way from the distance, coming forward, water again across that next ridge, and then the pure Winsor Yellow. So we can get a nice top section to each ridge. Using the same hues, we've got the combination of Winsor Yellow and Sap Green. And you can see on that far ridge, we've got a nice tone going on, where it goes from the darker to the lighter at the top of the ridge. We're aiming to achieve that again for this next ridge that we're painting. And this very much is an underpainting situation, which is important for transparent watercolors. So I've taken the opportunity of blocking in the underpainting for the trees on the left-hand side of this painting using my number 12, then letting that fuse in to that ridge. And we will later be doing some dark shadows in that area. Here we come, using our number 12, blocking in some darker shadow areas on the left and the right, but leaving that nice yellow top of the ridge area where it's catching the light. You should have fun doing this one as a beginner in transparent watercolor. It's easy, as you saw, there's hardly any drawing involved. The drawing involved is quite simple. And have your trusty hairdryer to hand so that you can dry off each stage before continuing to the next. So another ridge involved here, some water, clear water, and then some Winsor Yellow. Building up each ridge as we go along. And we're about halfway through. I know this one's a little bit repetitious, but I think you will find it very useful as a beginner. And it's good practice because you repeat a process a few times over to create the painting. And as always, this is Archer's paper. It's 300-pound rough. So it's got some tooth. It's a nice texture. It enables you to do a lot of things with transparent watercolor that you can't really achieve in the same way with other papers. So the closest ridge coming down there, using that dark mixture in the foreground, the immediate foreground, starting at the bottom, letting it fuse up. And with the board at that angle, it works to our advantage because it won't transfer too far up. It will leave that light ridge. If it was flat, that yellow area would immediately be swamped. And here, as you can see, I can dip into that yellow and mix it even more. We're building up a nice series of ridges. I'm going to need for the trees even darker versions here and there of the green. And you can see I've added some light red. It gives me a sort of olive color. I lay down some light first, and then I just dapple in some of the darker mixture using the number 6 brush. As I mentioned, there will be some dark shadow areas in the tree area as it comes towards us. As the sun is casting some shadows from those trees. And that's once again an underpainting situation. And you will see later, I will fuse that area at the bottom of the trees with a wash to make it a more convincing shadow area. You can use a number 12 brush for developing those trees on the left-hand side. And you'll want a mixture of your Winsor Yellow and Sap Green. Build up an underpainting. And then as you've built that up, you can dry that off with your hairdryer and mix up a nice brown mixture with Winsor Blue and Light Red so that you can use that for the tree trunks and branches. And you could drop to a number 2 brush, as I say, to achieve those. You can add a little bit for that shadow area. Use the number 6 brush. And also use a scraping technique once that underpainting has dried for your darker areas. Dry off with hairdryer. Just emphasize various darks here and there with various branches and tree trunks. And then we'll be able to fuse in that shadow area at the base of the trees. You can use your light green mixture. Just run that along and fuse in the darks, then continue down. And that makes it much more convincing, a softer feel to it. Then you'll repeat the process on the right side for those trees, similar fashion that we did before on the left side. Start with your light colors. At first I'm using number 12 brush for larger washes. Then I'll drop down to the smaller brush. I'm carefully trying to preserve those light areas at the top of each ridge. Dry off with the hairdryer. Then you can use a scraping technique with something like a number 6 brush. And once again, emphasizing the light catching the top of the trees. So dropping in, fusing in, wet and wet, some of that yellow mixture. Then we're going to complete the wildflowers in the foreground. I've got a mixture of Scarlet Lake and of Winsor Yellow, and we're using a basting brush. You can use this because it's got very good firm bristles, and you can lightly touch the paper. Use a little bit of tissue as necessary to mop up, if there's an excess of fluid. And the thicker you have that mixture, the better it will be. You can build it up. So here at the moment, I'm doing an underpainting of those wildflowers. I'll dry that off with a hairdryer, and then I will use a much thicker mixture with less water. Here we go. See me using that. And here we are laying in a much thicker mixture, and then use a thin number 2 brush for the various stalks of the wildflowers and for the birds in the sky as a grey mixture. And here we are, finished painting, perfect for beginners. I hope you've enjoyed painting this landscape with me, and we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give my other beginner videos a try by clicking this thumbnail.